Which one would you choose? A dollar that will double in value each day for 30 days, or $1 million today? You would leave millions on the table if you selected $1 million. If you choose to take the penny that doubles instead of the $1 million, your penny will be worth 2 cents on day 2, 4 cents on day 3, and 8 cents on day 4. The penny will have increased to $1,310.72 after 18 days. Surprisingly, it will be valued at more than $1 million on the 28th day, and then it will be worth an incredible $5,368,709 on the 30th day. Insanely, the penny would increase to more than $5 quadrillion if allowed to double for an additional 30 days. This demonstrates, among other things, that compound growth takes time to have a significant impact. Even if the initial investment is tiny, starting early is the key to success for someone who wishes to have enough money to retire comfortably. But what exactly should you know about the compounding effect, and how can you take advantage of it? The concept of compound interest. This has been referred to as the universe's most powerful force. From an early stage, learn to embrace compound interest and let it make you wealthy by following these simple steps. Did you know that money generates income and that money makes money by making more money? In a word, using compound interest to your financial advantage is the key to increasing your money. And as all long-term investors are aware, time is compound interest's best friend. So what exactly is compound interest and where did it come from? Well, according to Albert Einstein, compound interest is the world's 8th wonder. He believes that whoever comprehends it earns it, and whoever does not pays it. It's the ability to accumulate interest that leads to exponential development. Interestingly, the brilliant investor Warren Buffett acquired more than 90% of his total net worth after he turned 50. All of this was made possible by the interest he eventually earned on his interest and the interest he first earned on his previous earnings. All of this concept on compound interest first originated from the old Babylonian era. We know that the Babylonians used it to solve mathematical issues and referred to it as interest on interest. You might also be curious about how compound interest is determined. Well, the two types of interest are simple and compound. Simple interest is the simpler of the two to compute and forecast mentally. This is why many people don't fully understand the power of compounding and are willing to take unnecessary risk with their money by looking for larger returns or time in the market, instead of just allowing the power of compounding to work. We get the basic interest calculation by multiplying the investment rate by the interest rate by the number of years invested. And as for the compound interest, well, the yearly interest rate is raised to the number of compound periods minus 1 and then added to the starting principal amount to determine compound interest. The quantity of compounding periods has a big impact on the compound interest calculations. The compound interest increases with the number of compounding periods. The compound interest formula is the principal multiplied by 1 plus the interest rate over the number of compound periods per year, and that's put to the power of the number of time periods. This is wonderful, but understanding the formula isn't actually necessary. But because compound interest isn't intuitive, many people struggle to comprehend it. This is where the rule of 72 comes in. We all know that it's impossible to double your money every day, but a financial formula can estimate how long it will take to accomplish this. The rule of 72 might add a little bit of excitement to saving, because it's fairly easy. You can calculate how long it will take for an investment to double by dividing 72 by the investment's yearly rate of return. For instance, if you put $10,000 into an investment today and it grew at a 10% annual rate, it would be worth $20,000 after 7.2 years. That's really cool. However, when you allow an investment to double 3 or 4 times, that's when the fun begins. That $10,000 will increase to $80,000 in less than 22 years. This is how wealth accumulates throughout your life. But why do we not understand the compound growth? Compound growth can be demonstrated simply by imagining a coin multiplying daily. Adults can ignore their gut feeling that a penny twice can't possibly be that much. This is the case because compounding makes sense conceptually and is incredibly potent. Because it doesn't frequently occur in our daily lives, we find it challenging to accept it on an intuitive level. Most of us are used to the fact that most things progress linearly. That occurs when something expands at a rate that is essentially constant over time. When you consider saving money, you consider the arithmetic growth of that sum. If you save $50 per month, you'll have $600 after a year. You'll have $650 at the end of 13 months. The growth is mathematical because it grows by $50 per month. But when it comes to compounding growth, it takes place for a scenario when you put that money into the stock market. If you receive 10% annually, compounded monthly, you'll have $628.28 in savings after the first year. Continuing to save will result in you having $1,322.35 on just $1,200 in actual cash saved. That is how compounding works. Our money makes friends to make more friends. However, compound growth presents another challenge because although we get it, we also realize that it rarely continues to compound indefinitely. It would be very difficult for us to believe that a penny would double every day for 30 days, even if a genie gave it to us. It just feels too good to be true, making us believe something might occur. Because of this, roulette tables contain a display of previous numbers. We consider that a red is about to appear when we notice a string of red digits on that monitor. Even though we're aware they're separate events, our minds continue to wish to think otherwise. Even though our brain knows that this magically doubling penny is magical, we try to relate it to our everyday experiences by saying that a magic penny can't possibly keep doubling up to over $5 million. But anyway, getting success with the compound interest magic isn't easy. There's a lot behind it. To fully reap the rewards of compound interest, one needs time and patience. There are still many lessons to be learned, even though there isn't an investment that doubles daily in real life. For your investing plan, consider things in terms of years as opposed to days. You'll make more money if you let your investments compound for longer. Understanding the frequency of compounding is also very important. Your principal balance will increase based on how often interest is compounded, daily, monthly, or annually. When opening a savings account or investing, be sure you know how frequently interest compounds. Another crucial element is that compounding early cash withdrawals might destroy growth. Even though withdrawing 16 cents after 5 days might not seem like much, doing so is equivalent to starting over and leaves you with only 300,000 rather than more than 5 million after 30 days with this magic penny. Last but not least, if you miss one day of growth in the 30-day compounding, you would only earn 2.6 million instead of 5.3. Long-term investors who attempt to time the market by looking for bigger returns or timing when to enter and exit run the danger of missing that one day. The timing strategy may be really effective, but there is a lot of chance involved in it. Most likely, it won't be very effective. All of this is to imply that using an evidence-based strategy, accepting market returns, and allowing compounding to do its work are the least dangerous ways to accumulate wealth. Evidently, your wealth expands more rapidly due to compound interest. As a result of earning returns on both the money you invest and returns after each compounding period, it causes an amount of money to increase more quickly than it would with simple interest. You won't need to save as much money to accomplish your goals. When developing your wealth, the power of compounding may be a crucial element. Compound interest is something you may earn more of the earlier you open an interest-bearing account and begin saving money. Moreover, it's essential to aid in decreasing wealth-depleting elements like inflation, depreciating purchasing power, and rising living expenses. But now you might be wondering, are there any pitfalls of compound interest? Well, the truth is, it's never that easy. Compound interest also has a negative side. Compound interest can work against you in 3 ways. First, having high interest debt. Second, excessive portfolio expenses, and third, using tax-deferred funds. If you owe any money, this will refer to paying interest on interest. It can quickly spiral out of control since more interest is compounding on itself each month. This is clear when you initially obtain a mortgage because, for a considerable time, most of your monthly payments go towards interest and relatively little towards the principal. When you're getting hit with interest after interest, it can be very difficult to climb out of this hole. Pay off your loans with the highest interest rates first, and then excessive investment costs reduce your investment results. Let's examine 2 mutual funds that track the S&P 500. Their investing strategies are relatively similar. This will serve as a fairly easy real-world example. One of these is offered for just 0.015%, while the other costs 0.5% annually. Over the last 10 years, the low-cost fund has performed 269.21% better than the more costly fund, which has performed 252.44% better. Wouldn't you want to have that extra 16.77% in your portfolio? The more expensive fund will consume your returns more quickly as your portfolio expands. How about using your tax-deferred accounts? When you make an early withdrawal from your tax-deferred accounts, you forfeit the chance for those funds to grow over time and pay a 10% penalty. This adds up well. A 401k loan also qualifies, albeit to a lesser extent. Although you're not losing out on investment growth while your money's out of the plan, it's still terrible because you're paying interest to yourself. So always be careful with compound interest and be sure to use it to your advantage. Anyway, what do you think? Is investing using compound interest a smart approach to building wealth? Remember that investing is long term. You shouldn't expect your money to quadruple in value within 3 to 5 years. It would be best if you aim to increase your financial position over time. Anyway, that's all for today. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.